Which are the horses which will keep running, you think, in this rally? And which are the horses that it's time to now jump off?
So one is manufacturing.
Okay.
Thanks to China Plus One, a lot of global companies are looking to diversify their supply base. Any Indian company which is servicing local market and which can become part of global supply chain management will have, let's say, double engine ka growth.
Okay.
The second sector where we are extremely bullish is power. Utilizations are peak and there is huge demand and power rates will go higher and higher.
That's really interesting that you say that, because power was considered like a dog of a sector, right? Very sort of pedestrian 4-5% sort of growth. I remember back in the day, it was not an exciting or a hot sector to speak of. You think that's going to change?
Yes, because now there is demand for power and the supply is getting constrained. The newer capacities will come over a period of 5 to 6 years.
Right.
So in the meantime, power companies will have better realization.
Okay.
We also believe ahead of election, government puts money in the pockets of consumers and the consumption basket also should do well.
Okay.
Now here the only concern is monsoon. In the month of August, FMCG volumes have actually registered negative growth thanks to destocking at the stockist level. So subject to monsoon, I still think consumption stocks will do well ahead of election cycle.
So that's manufacturing, power and consumption. 3 horses that you think still have the stamina to keep flying ahead in this rally.
But within that, buy quality, buy reasonable valuation and buy for long term. There is a red signal in market for all micro caps, mini caps and SME exchange IPOs. I think their prices are way ahead of fundamentals. Some of the mid caps and small caps also are looking a little bit expensive. So please think of buying quality, long term and reasonable valuation.
Okay, I think that's really sane advice. And you're hearing it from the man himself. I mean, he has been in this industry for so long. So please listen when experts are giving you that piece of advice. On consumer, I just have a follow-up question. This whole trend that arose after COVID, that there's a lot of consumption and expenditure on the premium end. But we see FMCG companies, a sabun, tel, shampoo wala company, they're still doing 4-5% growth. They're struggling with, those kind of volumes. So within consumer, are you looking at playing this? Play the urban consumer, the rich consumer, and don't look at sabun, tel, shampoo? Or could that also change? I mean, in the medium term?
There is a K-shaped recovery post-COVID. The upper middle class and rich are enjoying growth far more than the lower middle class and poor people. And within that, there is premiumization happening. My favorite example is that 1% of Indians enjoy lifestyle of French citizen. About 25% enjoy Indonesian lifestyle. And rest are enjoying Sub-Saharan Africa lifestyle. We have to keep on migrating people from Africa to Indonesia and Indonesia to
Paris.
Now, journey of African lifestyle to Indonesian lifestyle is going to be far more than people moving from Indonesia to French.
Okay.
And hence, mid-market premiumization is the theme to play on. Pehle roti kapda makan was the basic necessity.
Correct.
And
Now everybody has
where
that.
all those things work.
Yeah.
Now, if you are getting incremental money, where will you spend? You will spend on entertainment, you will spend on travel and tourism, you will spend on healthcare, you will spend on education. So where incremental money is going to be spent in this sectors, this is where you will find opportunities.
Okay, got that. I now want to talk about what you see as the biggest red flash or the biggest risk. You mentioned micro caps and small caps. You want to elaborate on that, and beyond that, what could be the biggest risk that people need to keep in mind?
So I think there's a lot of complacency in micro cap, mini caps and SME exchange, where thanks to limited floating stock, prices have run up ahead of their fundamentals. And many people believe whatever is moving higher will continue to move higher. That complacency is not good. I think we have Triveni Sangam of flows and sentiments and fundamentals, but there are certain zones in micro caps and mini caps where prices are ahead of fundamentals. This is where one needs to exercise caution. There are events like higher oil prices, like monsoon, like election, which could have an impact on the market. be ready for correction. Don't assume that markets will continue to rise in a straight line.
We're coming to the final sort of leg of the conversation. So therefore, I want to ask you a couple of simple questions, like a bit of a rapid fire maybe. If you were to put in your next 6 months' salary into any particular financial product, what would it be?
So I'll be putting into asset allocation fund.
Okay.
This is where I outsource my asset allocation requirement to a professional fund manager.
Okay.
This is one category of fund which is likely to become extremely popular.
Mhm.
So just blindly put money into asset allocation fund.
Asset allocation funds. All right. Again, let me ask you, your 1 month salary you have to put in a mutual fund. Will it be an active fund managed by an active fund manager, or would it be a passive fund on, Nifty, Sensex, any of the indices?
So as long as the fund manager is adding value to me by outperforming indices, it is active. The day I realize that no, there will be no value addition, I'll go passive.
You suddenly get a bonus of, 3, 4 crores or 5 crores, whatever it takes to buy a house in the city of Mumbai. So basically, you get this big bonus corpus. Will you go and buy a house?
So if I don't have a house, undoubtedly I will go and buy a house. There are people who can stay on a rented property, and I've stayed there for 15-20 years. But ultimately, ghar apna ghar hota hai. So undoubtedly, if I don't have a house, I will go and buy a house.
Once you're in that house and you're done with your day, your office time is over, how would you unwind? How do you unwind?
So nowadays, thanks to Netflix and Amazon, you can watch out some of the amazing documentaries. And there are days when you don't want to watch a television, then there's always a book available. I'm still a physical book reader. I haven't graduated to Kindle. But the best way to unwind is by reading some book.
Nice. Which one are you reading now? Let me ask you, if you're reading something at the moment.
So I have been reading some of the books which has been gifted to me by some of our distributors who have written on financial planning.
Okay.
So very recently I got a book on financial planning, If God Was Your Financial Planner.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going through it right now.
The title itself has got my interest. I think I'm going to take some notes on this after our conversation is over. And last but not the least, if you could go back in time and if you could go back to the 90s when you were just finishing college, what advice would you give to your 21-year-old self? And if you could do things differently, if at all, what would you do? If you go back in time, Nilesh Shah, 21 years old, what would you do with life?
So I'll give the same advice which I got from someone. In those days, HDFC Bank was doing extremely well. And as a fund manager, I wanted to go and find out next HDFC Bank.
Of course.
And that's where my boss told me.
Even today, everybody wants to know the next HDFC Bank, right?
Yeah. But that's where my boss told me that, look, HDFC Bank itself is creating new HDFC Bank in 3.5-4 years. Why do you want to go and find another HDFC Bank? Invest where it is already happening. So I'll give advice to myself, buy quality and just stay invested.
Okay. All right, Nilesh, it has been a very, very nice conversation and a really enjoyable one. I have to thank you for coming out, taking out that time and being with us in the Market Cafe today.
Hope
to have you back often, more frequently,
Definitely.
and have more of these sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, hope you found that interesting and informative and fun. I surely did. Remember, you can catch us on YouTube. Check out all our episodes, and we are going to be back very, very soon with one more such engaging, interesting conversation. Catch you over my next coffee.